The tame parrots we found here were the largest and fairest birds of their kind that I ever saw in the West Indies. Their color was yellow and red, very coarsely mixed, and they would prate very prettily. And there was scarce a man but what sent aboard one or two of them, so that with provisions, chests, hen coops, and parrot cages, our ships were full of lumber. End quote. By William Dampier. Of the Voyages and Discoveries, 1729. So welcome everybody to our Parrot Stars podcast here. My name is Avery. I'm joined with Alexis, and today we'll be talking about the exciting myth and history of parrots and pirates.
Yes. So excited. Oh, I'm not supposed to be yelling. Yes. So excited.
Yes, this is a fun episode, just a little bit off of our usual bird care, bird focused training, or all those types of things, just to really kind of broaden the horizons a little bit.
Yes.
And have something that's fun and lighthearted and,
Yes,
not
for sure.
live or die or anything like that, because it's all stuff that is either fake, made up, or stuff that happened a long time ago.
Absolutely. I mean, there's so much connection to parrots and human culture in a lot of human history. I mean, parrots have been here as long as we have been. So our goal is to kind of connect some of the ancient history of parrots and people. And what a better way to launch that than with parrots and pirates.
The biggest stereotype I think that concerns parrots.
Captivating parts of human history, pirating and all of the lore and mystery and story that goes along with it. I mean, there's a reason we all see the image of a pirate or hear the word pirate and immediately see that image in our head, because it's so just immersed in storytelling and movies and culture. And yes, almost every image that somebody creates of a pirate in their head probably has a parrot positioned up on their shoulder.
Yep. So we'll talk about that and why that came to be a little bit. And we'll just see where this episode goes, kind of, to be honest. It's meant to be a fun one. And there's not very many sources out there about this, because a lot of it was actually just kind of blown up by pop culture.
Yep.
And so there's very little historical actual evidence in the grand scheme. There's stuff out there, but that experts know about, but just the general public know. So we started off the episode with a fun little excerpt there by found within the Voyages and Discoveries, published in 1729 by William Dampier. And the article I read you, or the excerpt I read you, was referencing a source from a raid on Alvarado, Mexico in 1676.
Mind-boggling.
So I think this is really fascinating because, I mean, you can't even comprehend that.
Mm-mm.
Even just a few hundred years ago, you can't even comprehend. 50 years ago even.
We were talking about that. Avery went to Scotland this past fall.
Oh.
And we were talking about how the United States history is so young compared to the ancient history of European countries. But then you think about 1676, which, yes, on the grand scheme of things, but that predates our Revolutionary War. That is a long time ago.
Parrots were involved. I know, it's crazy. Back then, it's so easy, and this sounds really cheesy and stupid, honestly, but it's so easy to be in right now, parrots are right now.
Yep.
But I mean, just like with everything else, so much has happened before we even comprehend. And the history outside of the U.S. is, again, so crazy because it seems like everywhere else they have history. Like Scotland, my now fiance and I went to Scotland, and their history is it happened in 1150,
so
in the year 700, this happened. You walk down the street in here and established 1980 3.
So true.
You know, it's like, okay.
Yes, we're so proud of our historic buildings that literally could not be more than like 200 years old.
I know. So, parrots and pirates. Everybody knows the stereotype, just like what you said. When you think of a pirate, you think of a parrot. And often, many times, people that don't have much parrot experience think of a parrot and then think of a pirate. So, the stereotype, where did it start?
Yes.
How did it evolve? And every source that we were able to found pointed to, maybe some of you listening can guess, the very, very, very famous Robert Stevenson's Treasure Island.
Yes.
Published in 1883. I didn't realize that it was that old. I thought it was the early 1900s, but that's crazy. And of course, the most famous, Long John Silver and his parrot, Captain Flint. So I don't know, has everybody watched Treasure Island?
I mean, I've seen clips of it. I've never sat down and actually watched it, no.
So I guess I watched the vast majority of it. And it's cool, you know, but the book was back then was like in 1883, like this is crazy stuff being published.
Yeah.
If you think about it. I mean, I'm not an expert on any of this stuff, but imagine 1883. They're not like reading,
I know,
like Twilight or Harry Potter.
Yes, this was sensational.
Yeah.
Yes.
And this is a big deal, and it became very, very popular back then. And since then, since its publishing until now, there have been literally around 11 movie adaptations in just English, and then around that number everywhere else. And that equals about over 100 adaptations across the world of Robert Stevenson's Treasure Island since its publishing.
Yeah.
Which is huge.
Yeah. I mean, that is a lot.
Not very many things get that many adaptations.
No. And that's a lot of imagery pumped out into the world of parrots being associated with pirates.
Yeah, millions of copies have been sold of Treasure Island. It's considered a classic. I mean, everybody has heard of it. Maybe most people maybe haven't read it or even watched the movie like I just mentioned. But it's a sensation. And now, I looked this up, so I thought it was an interesting... First edition copies are selling for over $10,000 right now. So it shows the value. But what we're getting at is... The reason we're giving all these stats is because of that massive viewpoint of that stereotype of the famous Long John Silver and his parrot companion, Captain Flint.
Yeah.
And that's where it all started. There's a few sources here and there, but that's kind of the image of the parrot and pirate, parrots on the shoulder, the parrots talking, pirates wearing an eye patch, peg leg. It's everything that you see in all the movies that follows about pirates and all the books and all the the pop culture and all that stuff. And so I think it's fascinating. And so actually I was going to go read it soon just to kind of see what it's all about.
I'm intrigued.
Watching the movie, it was like, I don't want to be that guy that like overanalyzes just because I'm in the field, but the actual, the actual
bird.
parrot,
I know.
the actual parrot that was Captain Flint, it's very subtle. And I'm not saying anything because I don't know. You know, I'm not accusing or saying anything negative, but there's very subtle body language that you could see the parrot that was like, ooh, like, oh God, okay. You know, but I'm not going to elaborate anymore, but yeah, that's just how it is. I mean, and plus the movie is pretty old.
And it really
standards were, I mean, you have to recognize standards were unfortunately maybe a little different.
Oh, for sure.
But
yeah, I mean, animals on sets has improved significantly.
Yeah.
But even it's just interesting when you just Google Treasure Island, like the different iterations of Parrot throughout all the different Treasure Island imagery and like cover images that they put on either the books or the movies. And the Parrot changes so much throughout the different.
Yeah, it really does.
Like it's a macaw, it's an Amazon. It's really quite diverse.
Yeah, because
It's just interpretation, really. I mean, it's supposed to be an Amazon, but yeah.
right. And in the context of like where Treasure Island's like actually happening, you have to which species are actually around where it's happening. So, I mean, just a little excerpt. I mean, people have probably also heard the phrase pieces of 8.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, a lot of people have heard that, and that comes from Captain Flint.
Mm-hmm.
That's what he says in Treasure Island. And pieces of 8 is the 15th, 16th century Spanish dollar.
Mm-hmm.
And so at that time, during this age of history in the Caribbean, that's the currency. So that was very common. So that's where that came from. And so here's a little quote by Long John Silver. And he says, describing Captain Flint, now, chat bird is maybe 200 years old. Hawkins, they live forever, mostly. And if anybody's seen more wickedness, it must be the devil himself.
Oh, no.
So we're going to say a lot of things in this episode that we don't like.
We're trying to not perpetuate, but you know what? You guys are smart listeners. You know what this is coming from.
Yeah, in quote there. But and so it goes on actually. He's describing. So I guess I'll just go through it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's quote, she sailed with England, the great Captain England, the pirate. She's been at Madagascar and at Malabar and Suriname and Providence and Portobello. She was at the fishing up of the wrecked plate ships. It's there she learned pieces of 8, and little wonder, 350,000 of them, Hawkins. She was at the boarding of the Viceroy of the Indies out of Goa, she was, and to look at her, you would think she was a baby. So he's talking about Captain Flint, the bird.
Yes.
And apparently this bird has been all over the world, and Captain Flint learned pieces of 8 from seeing this absurd amount of currency. But I think it's interesting about what he said about how they live forever mostly. Because what I just read kind of reflects what he said earlier. It's possible this bird maybe did go around the whole world because they can live to see it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also cool because he says you would think she's a baby because parrots,
they don't.
It's like they don't
visually age. Yes.
Yeah. So I just thought it was kind of fascinating to kind of analyze a little bit based off like what we do and how we perceive parrots. So that's kind of where it started.
I mean,
Treasure Island.
I really like though too, like in that quote, like it does make the bird sound very majestic. Like it has this
it's like a royal. Yeah. It's been all over the world and none can compare.
Exactly.
Yeah. It is fascinating. It really is. But also to think about like why did it start? Like why did Robert Stevenson pick this to be on the shoulder? Because I mean, we'll talk about the historical records a little bit about actually real pirates having real interactions with real parrots, but he just made up the whole shoulder thing, at least as far as I know, for the most part. And at least too, he made it up to the point where it's become such a sensation. So I think it's crazy that one thing, one idea has turned into this worldwide perception of parrots being on not just pirates' shoulders.
But everyone's shoulder. Yes.
Yeah, because that's the image. That's what people, when they read kids' books, starting from a young age, you read a book about pirates and there's a parrot sitting on the shoulder. So that's what everybody grows up with. And that's what everybody thinks is the norm. Like where a parrot should be if you have one is right there. And it all comes down to Long John Silver.
Yep.
Do we have Long John Silver, the restaurant here, by the way?
They do exist.
Okay. Oh, anybody ever? Shelly, have you ever? Yeah. You been to him? Okay. Where?
DeKalb.
Oh. Well, there you go.
I haven't been to a Long John Silver since I was a very little kid. And it has like a very specific like context in my memory that like I don't know if I'm going to be frequently attending the local Long John Silvers anytime soon.
Yeah, I don't know. I just threw that out there because it's like, it is, you know. So we had one in my hometown where I grew up in Ohio. And actually, I probably shouldn't say. I actually went like, not an unreasonable amount, like a gross amount, but enough where like I had vivid memories. I just remember this is irrelevant, but they had the hush puppies.
Oh, yep.
Which, by the way, are fantastic. But as a kid, I used to think that they were called dog balls. I don't know why it's the hush puppy. Like, anyways, has nothing to do with parrots and pirates.
Yeah, with you. Oh my God.
So taking a step back, so we just wanted to give you a light onto like where everything started with Treasure Island, Robert Stevenson's Treasure Island, Long John Silver, and Captain Flint. But actually, doing a little deeper dive is another very famous, maybe not so much in America, but over in Europe, is Robinson Crusoe by Daniel Defoe. And that was published in even earlier than the original passage I quoted you, 1719. And everybody's probably heard of Robinson Crusoe, but maybe not as well as Treasure Island. Robinson Crusoe was an adventurer who acquired a parrot named Poll, and he also encountered a character named Friday. Okay, but Poll was a pretty significant part of Robinson's adventures, and something that Poll was very famous for saying, and because it's kind of like the first contextual, like very almost complicated, I guess, if you will, phrase that a parrot actually says in a novel is Robin Crusoe, poor Robin Crusoe, where are you, Robin Crusoe? Where are you? Where have you been? I mean, I haven't read it. The context here is what I have found for you, so I wouldn't be able to tell you why he's saying that. But what I do know is Robinson was struggling a little bit on his adventures, and Daniel Defoe, I think, used Poll as a sort of like the inner monologue for Robinson, if that makes sense.
Yes.
That's just a little bit of what I found to give this a little bit of context.
Do you think Poll is spelled Poll? Do you think that has any like relation to the fact that like the most common term for a parrot is Polly? Like Polly wants a cracker kind of thing?
I thought the same thing, but then Martha Washington, George Washington's wife, had a parrot named Polly. And I think Polly is a very U.S.-centered parrot name.
Okay.
And I mean, I don't know, but
I mean, maybe she read Robinson Crusoe.
Well, that's true. Honestly, I don't know.
You don't know.
But I think that might be coincidental, or this might actually be the origin of why the stereotype. So the first thing that my grandma said when I told her that I started working at Parrot Stars is, you could probably guess, I don't think my grandma's listening to the Parrot Stars podcast, no. But it's the most elderly person thing to say concerning parrots that they know nothing about. And she said, "Oh, Polly want a cracker?" I said, "Ah, you know what? That's okay. Yeah, they probably do." That's so. It's this trope. I mean, Polly is famous enough that it's the name that people who don't know really anything about parrots thinks of.
Mhm.
And this could be where the name came from. So, yeah, Robinson Crusoe and Pole lives off the coast of Venezuela for like decades. And that's where his adventures take him. So I just brought that up because it's fascinating in the context of parrots, because Robinson Crusoe by Daniel Defoe was labeled the first ever published like realistic fiction novel. So parrots made an appearance in the first ever novel.
I love that.
Fictional novel. So I thought that was kind of cool. And that's according to the Oxford Companion to English Literature. So if they're wrong, then who's right?
Right.
We are sponsored by Oxford English Dictionary. So those are two of the biggest ones that I found that kind of started it all. But then as pop culture just blows it up.
Mm-hmm.
So the biggest one everybody can probably guess is, well, it's written right there, but you could probably guess if it was
Pirates of the Caribbean.
Pirates of the Caribbean.
I cannot contribute too much to the commentary on Robinson Crusoe, but I can tell you quite a bit about Pirates of the Caribbean. I love me some
I know. Everybody does.
Captain Jack Sparrow over here.
Every person knows Pirates of the Caribbean. Every single person has probably watched it. Every single person can probably name the vast majority of the characters.
Mm-hmm.
And guess what makes an appearance in the first ever like a conglomeration of the Black Pearl's crew?
Yes.
Is a blue and gold macaw.
I love it.
And so it's the pirate. His name is Pirate Cotton.
Mm-hmm.
And he's that guy that can't speak. So of course, who does he have to speak for him? Yeah, it's the parrot.
You know, I was at least like the wings weren't clipped on that blue and gold in those movies, but
that is true. I noticed that.
The voiceover, there was a little room for improvement in that category.
Yeah.
So
you
bad.
could tell because the bird's beak would move. And it was like somebody in the back room going like, rah.
So bad. I feel like that is the representation of parrot talking that is like most mainstream. It's just this horrible.
That's what people think.
Rah! And then whatever like smoker voice you want to add to that.
It's, yeah, very, it is the same voice. They use it. They'll probably use that same voice for a macaw as they would for like a little cockatiel, probably. So Pirates of the Caribbean, the blue and gold makes a big appearance, and he stays. That blue and gold becomes like a core member of the Black Pearl.
It does. Do you know what my favorite scene is in was it the second or the third movie where the ship goes?
That's the third.
That's the third, right?
I think is yes.
Yes, that's like what's the name of it? Anyway, it doesn't matter.
At World's End?
At World's End, yes. And so when the ship is like turning over and everybody gets soaking wet and they come out and then the blue and gold's like soaking wet and you can see him like shake off. I'm like, I get so nervous like anytime there's an animal in any movie, even though like I understand that it's fake, but like I'm more concerned about whether or not the animal survived than the people in the story.
I know.
But yeah, then when you see it flip over and he's like still hanging on and he's like totally wet.
I know. But also that scene, aren't they in like the Arctic, I believe?
I think they are in cold water, yeah. Yeah.
This blue and gold macaw is up there in the cold water. Anyways, we know it's fake. Pirates of the Caribbean, it wasn't like that long ago where we actually have to have genuine concerns.
Right.
So kind of fun fact, I didn't realize this, but there's actually two blue and golds that make the appearance.
Oh, like it's two different birds that played that role.
Yeah,
oh, okay.
And they're named Chip and Salsa, which is kind of cute, actually. So Chip was what they called the sitter. So he was the blue and gold that actually sit on Pirate Cotton's shoulder.
Okay.
And salsa was what they called the performer.
Okay.
So the one
Probably
that
more
probably did the
trained,
tricks
yeah.
or interacted with the capuchin monkey character as well, because they had a few interactions. I don't know what all the like performances they're referring to.
Yeah.
But there was 2 blue and gold. So I guess I challenge you to go back and watch and see if you can like tell
Okay, I'm
the
going to do
minor
this. I'm going to watch it with fresh eyes and
differences.
a critical eye of the blue and golds.
So, yep, the parrot sat on Cotton's shoulder, talked for him, famously said, walk the plank, and so, which has become another one of the most stereotypes, pirate like conceptions out there about walking the plank.
Yep.
And I would go so far to say that this has kind of solidified that stereotype in like modern, like for young audiences. Because Pirates of the Caribbean came out, it was 2003?
Yeah.
Curse of the Black Pearl came out, the movie came out in 2003.
Yeah. I mean, that was a while ago.
But the movie, of course, is the film adaptation of Disneyland's actual like experience ride. So Disneyland, that's where the original Pirates of the Caribbean was, like the attraction ride. That was from 1967, which I thought it was a little bit later. I thought it was like the 80s, but Disney World in Florida adopted their own Pirates of the Caribbean. So Disneyland was the first, and that featured the Barker Bird, in quotes, or Peg-Leg Pete. And he was a green macaw. Again, this is another one of those things that everybody knows, obviously the movies, but also the ride too. And in fact, maybe for some of the older generations, the Pirates of the Caribbean ride at Disneyland is like the ride they think of when they think of like Disneyland, Disney World.
So famous.
And the stats, according to the LA Times, but it's the only one I could find, over 400 million people have ridden that ride since its opening.
Like, it's just the imagery is just so reinforced over and over and over again in so many ways.
And it's not like just some regular character that people like see on the ride and then kind of forget. Like a parrot being a part of an attraction is a very memorable moment. And the spotlight goes on Peg-Leg Pete and he does his little thing and everybody remembers that compared to all the other props and stuff.
And I don't think it's far-fetched to say, like, that is an amusement park that caters towards children. Like, that is possibly, like, where kids are learning, like, the context of how parrots are associated with humans. Like, unless they're very specifically raised in a household where somebody's, like, teaching them about parrots.
Or, like, has a actual
most
parrot.
of the imagery that they probably would have seen on TV or like in this amusement park would be a parrot associated with a pirate.
I'm gonna miss that was mine.
Yeah.
I mean the famous painting. Oh, I forget who it was. It wasn't N.C. Wyeth, was it? Doesn't matter. But the famous painting that actually depicts Long John Silver from Treasure Island with Captain Flint. I mean that's a core memory that I saw as a kid. I had no affiliation with parrots at the time. And then Pirates of the Caribbean with blue and gold. I mean, that's where kind of my perception started. So yeah, it's become.
I was just looking because I was going to say the other, like my favorite, one of my favorite movies is Hook. Which is like a very pirate forward movie, but I don't remember there being a parrot in it.
That's why we didn't. I couldn't find it either. I don't think there's a parrot.
Shout out to the movie Hook, though. You guys should definitely watch it if you've never seen it before.
While we're on the theme of pirates, yeah. It is a good. So
I think there is coming up on my quick Google search here. There are parrots in the 1991 movie Hook.
Oh.
Various exotic animals, including parrots and macaws, appear in the film as part of the general atmosphere of Never Neverland. These birds do not have significant roles or action, but they are present in the background of certain scenes. That's what I was thinking. I was remembering that they were like on the shoulders, like when they're on the ship in the background. So there you go.
Yeah.
So you can also reinforce your imagery with one of my favorite movies that I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Captain Hook.
So just so you know, wherever there's pirates, there's parrots. So, which is not true, but that's just what we have grown up to believe.
Yes.
Of course, over time, I just had to put this one in here because I'm a very huge fan. I watched it all the time as a kid.
All the time
Tom and
too.
Jerry, though this was a lot later than the ones that I enjoyed. 2006, Tom and Jerry's Shiver Me Whiskers features a parrot named Stan. And he sits where on the red pirate Ron's shoulder. So nothing really about that other than I especially put everybody loves Tom and Jerry. So it is what it is. They just made a movie that had a parrot on a pirate's shoulder.
Oh my goodness.
And then the next example.
That's a whole movie. I thought it was just an episode.
No, it's like it's like one of those movies.
Wow. Okay.
That it's like what do you call it? Like a film feature or whatever.
I
It's not
used
like
to love Tom and Jerry, man.
Yeah. So my favorite era was I think the 70s. Like I just love the artwork, the way that Tom looked. It's like that weird 70 like completely different from any of his other depictions. Anyways. So that's that. And then, of course, we cannot move on without talking about Zach Brown's
Oh my gosh.
Pirates and Parrots song. So
Avery.
we're not allowed to play it because we'll probably get in trouble.
You can go as a listener
listen to it.
and listen to it. I actually was a big fan of Zach Brown Band, but when we were talking about this episode topic months and months ago, Avery's like, did you know that there's a song that's literally called Parrots and Pirates? And he played it for me. I think we were in the grooming room.
Yeah, we're just grooming up like a bird, cutting their nails.
What is this?
Oh, God. You know, I feel like we're at liberty to say this because it's a free country, but it's an awful song. It's the worst song I've ever heard in my entire life. But I'll give it points because it's a tribute to Jimmy Buffett. And I mean, Jimmy Buffett is an icon.
Really bad.
Icon. Awful song, great motive. So I encourage you all to go listen to it, add it to your liked songs on Spotify.
Yep.
So make sure, it always shows up in the shuffle there. But I'll just leave it at that so you can figure it out yourself and make your own opinions. I don't want to give you any opinions. Maybe it's going to be your most favorite song ever, especially if you're a big Jimmy Buffett fan. But there you go.
Well, Jimmy Buffett, I mean, he has a lot of that classic parrot, like tropical
it's all the paradise
imagery.
Yeah, paradise stuff.
And look at that. He's just with blue and gold macaw right on Google search. But my best friend growing up, her parents were the biggest Jimmy Buffett fans. And that was like the sound of my childhood. Swimming in her pool was listening to Jimmy Buffett.
Yeah, Cheeseburger in Paradise is in my classic hits.
Have you ever been to Cheeseburger in Paradise? Is it still there? Have you ever been to it?
No. That's an actual place?
Yeah.
I thought he was referring to like his Margaritaville.
No, there's like an actual restaurant around here called Cheeseburger in Paradise, and it is Jimmy Buffett's restaurant.
There's a Paradise Pub?
No. It's literally the official name of the
we have to
restaurant.
All right.
Maybe that's where we'll go for
Okay.
We'll really bring this full circle. We'll go there for our holiday. Cheeseburger in Paradise is a real...
It's interesting because, I mean, Jimmy Buffett obviously doesn't represent like pirates, but it's just kind of the whole theme of like the tropic paradise. And parrots are literally in the official Margaritaville logo.
Yeah, it's
Margaritaville and then there's two parrots flying. So it's like, I mean... They're everywhere.
Yes.
And then people link that tropic paradise with like the whole pirate trope. And then it kind of legitimizes that stereotype for them, I think, a little bit. They're like, oh, parrots. Yep. Parrots also happen. So let's put them together. So then, of course, I mean, they show up everywhere. I mean, Pittsburgh Pirates, their official mascot is the pirate Parrot. And he looks goofy. It's hard to tell he's an actual parrot, but if you put two and two together, I mean, the pirates with a parrot mascot.
I've never been to a Pirates game, but
neither have I. But they're the only parrot mascot out there. So, and then
man,
what? Does he look kind of?
Did you Google it?
Oh yeah. He doesn't look good.
It's not the greatest representation of the intelligent quality of a parrot. What is happening? I mean, mascots, yes, they're supposed to be like exaggerated
I get it.
characters, but
nothing against the Pittsburgh Pirates.
This mascot has some dead eyes.
Million people fan base. We're not jumping on you with the Parrot Stars podcast here. But it's just not the best.
I mean, they literally made him cross-eyed.
I know. Yeah, that's one thing I noticed too. I just kind of moved on. I put in the notes and I moved on. So
okay.
I guess we'll do the same. And then obviously Halloween. I just put it in there because it just keeps on driving that perception. People show up as a pirate, which is probably, there's no stats for this, but I'll probably go so far to say that's probably in the top X number of most popular Halloween costumes. And then I go on Amazon and they actually sell parrot shoulder straps.
Oh my God.
So you can actually put a parrot on your, like a little stuffed animal parrot that straps onto your shoulder for your pirate costume. So, I mean, that's awesome. Actually, it's a good idea. So, and I put this in here because I thought it was funny. I don't know if Michael the Parrot Wizard listens to our podcast.
I'm pretty sure he does, but
or maybe we could do a social media thing. But he did post his green wing macaw on his shoulder and his little Senegal parrot Killy holding a little pirate cutlass. As he himself, Michael, was dressed as a pirate. And he posted this on his website, so everybody can see it.
Shout out to Michael.
Yeah. So, Michael, there you go. You're playing into the stereotype there.
Oh my God.
So, that's just kind of a general rundown.
Yeah.
Of where this all came from. And I think that was a good enough amount of examples that whoever's listening gets the idea of why this is a thing.
Yeah.
Because there's really no reason. There's no reason why it's a thing. It's just become a thing over time.
Yeah.
And like I even mentioned at the store the other day, we have products like the little perches.
Mm-hmm.
And I forget what it is, like what it's called, but it has a little parrot with an eye patch and a pirate hat.
Oh, yeah, that's
it's
Busybird.
Is that it?
I think it is Busybird that has it, right?
Yeah, okay. Well, there you go. It's even in Parrot Stars.
Yep.
And then I just watched, because while we're filming this, it's Christmas time. I just watched the 1984 Christmas Carol, and Ebenezer Scrooge references Robinson Crusoe's parrot pole.
Really?
In the movie.
Wow. See, it's so immersed.
Yeah, I was sitting there and made a big deal out of it. My fiance Clara is like, she's like,
God bless Claire and Andrew.
Yeah. I have to deal with our parrot.
Constant commentary about parrots in our lives. Oh, goodness. All right.
Welcome, everybody, to our species spotlight for our exciting episode about parrots and pirates. So today we wanted to talk about the blue and gold macaw, because we had talked about it a little bit earlier in the podcast with Pirates of the Caribbean, Pirate Cotton's blue and gold.
Yes.
And, of course, they're also called the blue and yellow macaw, interchangeable, Ara araruna. So they are one of the larger macaw species, though I think they're slightly larger than the scarlet macaws, but less than the green wings.
Exactly.
So they're right in between. They're probably, aside from the scarlets, one of the most recognizable macaw species. Everybody has seen either parrot-related or just imagery used in like a product or pop culture or something like that, of those very distinct
Mm-hmm.
yellow body, blue backs and wings, and then a little less noticeable is the green forehead.
Yeah.
So blue and gold macaws are a South American macaw species where macaws are found. They have a pretty wide range down in South America, and it's the Amazon region.
Mm-hmm.
So they take up quite a few countries that the Amazon actually touches. They are not only famous for their coloring, of course, which is pretty
Yeah.
unique amongst the macaws, but they do have very unique, actually, the facial patterns there.
Mm-hmm.
So the feathers that actually streak the cheeks, why they're shaped different, or I should say patterned differently, there's not really a good source around that. Maybe it could be a sort of fingerprint
Mm-hmm.
that individualizes, just like zebra stripes.
Yep.
All zebras don't have uniform striping. Could be something like that. That's just a throw out in the dark a little bit, but it's something that makes them
Yeah.
kind of unique. It's really fascinating. Absolutely beautiful birds. Of course, they have those huge beaks where they feed on nuts and those dried fruits and all the things that you could imagine a macaw that would eat in the Amazon region. So populations right now, according to the IUCN Red List, are unknown. This big old U right there, which is understandable because it's going to be really hard to quantify. I mean, blue golds have a very wide range. Quite frankly, it's hard to tell in some cases nowadays, wild versus
Like human
release,
raised.
or human raised that have then gotten out. And so it is difficult. They are, however, at least concerned right now. But of course, populations are decreasing. So that's that.
Yeah. Interesting fact, I grew up with a blue and gold in my house. So that's part of what spurred on all of my life with parrots. But my parents, long story short, everyone, my parents were actually told they weren't going to be able to have kids. So when my parents were in their early 30s, actually they might have been there in their late 20s, but they went, this is guys in the 70s. Okay. So it's different times, but they went to like a place in Chicagoland where they had parrots available for sale, and they went in to get a cockatiel, and the person told them that they should leave with a blue and gold macaw. So like the opposite experience of what you get at Parrot Stars.
Oh my goodness.
And so my parents, totally like naive, not knowing anything, no kids in the household, like raised this blue and gold macaw. Her name was Bo. She was an awesome bird. She was like so full spirited, and actually we thought she was a boy her entire life until I was like an older kid, probably like 8 or 9, until one day there was an egg on the bottom of her cage, and my mom thought we were pranking her, and she was so mad at us. Like she thought we put a chicken egg on the bottom of the cage, and she's like, you don't understand, if Bo ate a raw chicken egg, it could kill her. Like, don't ever do this. This is the dumbest prank. And we're all like, Mom, we did not put an egg in Bo's cage. But my mom was convinced to her core that Bo was a boy.
Oh, no
And
way.
then all of a sudden, there comes egg number 2. And those are like the only 2 eggs that Bo ever laid were these back-to-back random eggs. But that's how we found out that Bo was a girl, because, again, that totally predates DNA testing. So that's how we figured out that she was a girl.
That's interesting. Gosh.
But she was really cute. Like when we did laundry when I was little, like she would come out and she'd like help fold laundry by like standing on the side of the laundry basket and threw all the laundry off the couch onto the floor.
Oh, that's cute.
But it was a game. We did it every single time we did laundry. So I have like very, very special and fond memories of this beautiful blue and gold. That
Was she a baby when
no,
we got
she
her?
was wild caught. So we have no idea. I mean, she lived with my parents until I moved out in my early 20s. So probably, I mean, it was before my older brother. So they probably had her at least 30 something years.
Wow. Okay.
And who knows how old she was.
Golly.
But my mom was kind of like a bird whisperer and built trust and threw peanuts back in the day.
Isn't it
You
crazy
know,
to think how far things have
so
come for
different.
the better? I mean, we're talking about within lifetimes wild caught birds
Hmm.
that, I mean, yeah, is of the time, but now if you hear that, it's like I can't believe it. Like this,
No, it's
like
craziness.
why would you just tell me that kind of thing? It's crazy, and
At
it's for
least
the
my
better.
parents had
It's for the better,
a
obviously.
decent sized macaque cage with toys. So,
Well, yeah, let's take care of these birds.
but yeah, so that's my little blue and gold experience in my life was my beautiful bow.
That's fascinating. I didn't know her name was Bo,
Hmm.
because your mom talked about her, but I didn't realize her name was Bo. Well,
Yeah.
that's fun.
Yes.
So, well, there you go. Thank you so much for tuning in to our species spotlight, spotlighting the blue and gold macaw.
Mhm.
And I guess back to our
Yes.
pirate conversation. So, I guess those are just good examples, and just kind of moving on to the actual history, which is the exciting part about it. And there's not really much out there about real pirates actually having real parrots. There is a few references and examples that aren't necessarily well, did it actually happen, or is it just these sources that write this stuff down for like the audience a little bit? And I hope there are no like actual parrot and pirate historian experts out there that listen to this, because they're probably like, oh my God, I can't believe that he would say that, because there's probably a boatload of stuff out there, honestly, but it's just in the general mainstream that I was diving into. There's really not much. So, I mean, the National Maritime Historical Society says, yeah, for sure, parrots had pirates. But it's not something that was around all the time. Not every pirate sailed over to wherever just to get a parrot. I mean, it was probably a very, very rare case. And it played into the whole reason why they were pirating.
Right.
And so parrots, along with all the other resources that were new to Europeans, that were valuable,
the sea.
They saw these birds that looked nothing like anything they're used to in Europe, and to a scale of just beyond belief. I mean, think of, all birds are very special. I don't want to come across, but think of like comparing having never seen a scarlet macaw to like a European robin. That's a very, very common bird. It's very small. It's not very characteristic. Has a cute little orange patch on his belly, but everybody knows it in Europe. And then they come over here and see this macaw, and oh my God. And then, of course, they're of a time where there's
no ethics around I guess quite frankly from the wild.
I guess we won't dance around it. It's not like we're insulting anybody.
Right.
Nobody's alive today that was there back then. So yeah, there's no ethics. It's new. They're of the mindset of discovery. They're of the mindset of trying to gain personal gain and take what they can get. And unfortunately, parrots were a part of that. Take what you can get. And so Christopher Columbus himself was said to have actually brought parrots over back to Europe. And in his journal of 1492, he said, quote, "I saw no beast of any kind except parrots on this island," end quote. Next quote, "They brought skeins of cotton thread, parrots, darts, and other small things, which it would be tedious to recount, and they give all in exchange for anything that may be given to them," end quote. And what he's referring to is his actual communications with like the natives of the time. And so they brought parrots, if he's telling the truth, they brought parrots to him, which means parrots were already a part of their culture as well. And that could definitely be another
There's so
That
much.
could be,
Yeah.
that's definitely another episode. We won't get into that. But I think it's fascinating. 1492 and earlier, obviously, much, much earlier. Probably before Common Era. People had parrots in some sort of cultural,
Yeah, I think it's even recorded
avicultural
in
even.
like Mayan history, like all of the
Yeah.
artwork and the feathers and everything. I mean, it's so long ago.
Yeah. And
It's like ancient history.
and parrots were a part of that, which is really, really interesting. And so in his actual diary, Columbus actually states he brings a couple of parrots labeled as green parrots in wicker cages, along with some gold that he contained from the native people, and as gifts for the rulers of Spain. So Queen Isabella and King Ferdinand. And this was according to the EBSCO of 2023. But the reason I put that in here is not so much the fact that he brought him over, because we already know that, but he put him in wicker cages. I
He
mean,
didn't chew out.
is it actually real?
Yeah.
Because if they were truly in wicker cages on a journey that lasted at the time like months, you telling me that those parrots stayed in a wicker cage? Like a wild parrot stayed in a wicker cage? I don't know. I know. And like I said, the experts out there are probably like, you telling me otherwise, but just knowing parrots, they're not going to stay in a wicker cage probably for 2 minutes, let alone like 3 months.
Right.
So, and even like keeping them alive, quite frankly, not to take a dark turn, but I mean, do they have the resources to actually keep
I was just
these
thinking
birds
that, like,
alive
how are they feeding them
for that period of time? So that's that. But I did find a really fascinating source, and I recommend everybody go check it out, because it's by Bennerson Little, who is a pirate history expert, and he's an author. And he says that, parrots and sailors that were in this geographical region definitely came in contact with parrots and really interacted in the way that they even brought them with them. And so he, in this article here, he states, Dennis de Carli, a 1667 voyage from Bahia de Todos os Santos, Brazil, to Lisbon, Portugal. The ship was like Noah's Ark, for there were aboard, so many several sorts of beasts, that what with the noise and the talk of so many people as were aboard, we could not hear one another speak. The loading was 1,000 chests of sugar, 3,000 rolls of tobacco, abundance of rich wood for dyeing and making of cabinets, elephant's teeth, besides the provision of wood, coals, water, wine, brandy, sheep, hogs, and turkeys. Besides all this, abundance of monkeys of several sorts, apes, baboons, parrots, and some of those birds of Brazil, which they call aracas.
Wow.
So there you go. And that was an end quote, apologies. But there you go. So Dennis de Carli's 1667 voyage states that, parrots were there.
Yeah.
And they just brought them over along with all this other stuff. Like in the actual article that I was reading, they have prints of like pictures, like sketched of the time or paintings of the time. Obviously not photographs.
Right.
Of ships aboard, and you can see in the background, they're not the subject, but in the background, they have cages and inside is an obvious parrot. And I think that's kind of gives light to the situation, because the focus of the sketch or the imagery was of the actual people. And parrots
but
being in the background
exactly.
That they were common enough that they made it into the imagery of the time of what was happening in the Caribbean, and the South American region. So, it happened. They were there. They were a part of it, for better, for worse.
Yeah.
And that's where it all began.
Yep.
At least for like the Western mindset.
Yeah.
Where it all began was much farther for the actual people that were native there, but just for us, I guess.
Right.
That's it. So, and then I have a couple of other things that are kind of fascinating. I mean, Shakespeare, because they were bringing these birds over to Europe, and so they actually became prominent enough where they started showing up in royal courts. They started showing up in Shakespeare, as I just said. So he had enough exposure to parrots to actually put him in Henry IV,
Wow.
his play. And what he said was, quote, "That ever this fellow should have fewer words than a parrot, and yet the son of a woman," end quote, exclaims Henry, Prince of Wales, in the first part of Henry IV.
Crazy.
So, I went through like a Shakespeare trope. I felt like it was like my duty as a human being to read some of Shakespeare on my own just to feel like well-learned.
Yes.
And the Shakespearean like literature and the Shakespearean scholars out there are on a different level, and I appreciate them so much. But what does this mean?
I don't know.
So obviously the stereotype of talking parrots was there because he references that. And yet the son of a woman.
Okay. So I think it's saying that the person never talks less than a parrot. And it's surprising because of how much women talk.
Yeah. That's what I got. That's what I got from it. But I don't know. I didn't really like say that. Of course. So I guess that's it. I guess the people in Shakespeare's time ate it up.
Yep.
And kind of wrapping it up a little bit, I just put this in here just to solidify the parrots traveling to Europe. And at the time of researching this, I was going to Scotland.
Yeah.
And so I found this fun little thing. And again, it was from the Benderson's article. He had so much stuff. Yeah. I think everybody should check out what he put in his Parrots and Pirates. And it wasn't just focused on parrots. It had other animals as well that made a significant appearance in the whole West Indies pirate and sailor adventures. But here is an excerpt about a Scottish Highlander and a parrot. And the article said, quote, "An honest Highlander walking along Holborn heard a voice cry, 'Rogue Scot, rogue Scot.' His northern blood fired at the insult, drew his broadsword, looking around him on every side to discover the object of his indignation. At last he found that it came from a parrot, perched in a balcony within his reach. But the generous Scot, disdaining to stain his trusty blade with such ignoble blood, put up his sword again with a sour smile, saying, 'Gin ye were a man as you're a green goose, I would split your weem.'" This is from 1729. Yeah, so this is what it's all about, everybody. This is why we do what we do.
Oh my gosh.
So obviously, the poor parrot was not described in the best of manner. Yeah. But it's just another one of those fascinating things of like the time and the interaction. You don't really put parrots in the context of Scotland.
No.
And so I think I mentioned this too. But
I think that's probably why it was so impactful and why it's like so like a part of our Western culture, is because it was such like a revelation. Like it just was so immersed in everything that people were doing and the imagery even back then, that it just has continued to carry over. Like the shock. I mean, can you imagine like how much impact it must have had when they realized that they could mimic? I mean, yeah, there's a reason that it's just so a part of like just imagery.
Yeah. But also going back to like the historical aspect, how did they get these parrots? The ones that were not gifted to them. Like, how did these pirates, first of all, have the time to wait for a parrot to actually start mimicking? Because parrots don't Like
Takes
just,
time, yeah.
yeah, it takes a long time sometimes.
Yeah.
And two, if they're a wild parrot, I mean, with the technology of the time,
Although, who knows what life was like on those ships? Those people were probably so bored that they were
that's a good point.
mean,
They
you
probably
know
did have a
what?
lot of time.
I mean, it's so much time. I mean, we can't even fathom what it's like to be trapped in a small space for 3 months
Yeah,
straight. I mean, the pirates obviously are probably coming and going a lot more frequently, but I'm sure that there was probably a lot of downtime.
Yeah.
Whenever they weren't pirating.
Yeah, I guess, yeah. That's their job. They're probably like, going to clock in to go pirate today. I'm going to take my parrot with me and put it on my shoulder. So
interesting. This is a little off topic, but still in the theme of like old Spanish ships and all of the things they carried back and forth through the Americas and all the pirating that took place, or why the pirating was so prevalent. Where our breeding program is in Florida, guys, is literally in the Treasure Coast. So there is like offshore, there is like a really high like sea level piece of land that caused a ton of shipwrecks. So like our entire little section of Florida, there's a whole thing that I haven't even told you about that's so interesting, but there's a ton of scuba diving that happens, and they're still excavating Spanish ships. Like there's still like grants that are put out for people to go find stuff. But yeah, our little piece of Florida that we're in is literally like the section of Florida called the Treasure Coast.
So close. I know about the Treasure Coast because I've heard about those dives, and they're still finding stuff.
Yeah.
But I didn't realize that we
we're like right there. It's only like a 30-minute drive to get to where you can start, where the scuba diving could start finding them offshore.
And find some of those wicker cages that lasted from then until now, preserved in the ocean.
Like, could you imagine if like there's like still bones and remnants of? Do you think they would have decayed by now?
No, it's not so much decay. I don't think that's. It would no. It would be. It would just probably disintegrate.
Okay.
Because you're dealing with
like harsh salt water.
Well, not only the chemicals, but also just the movement. I mean, that stuff is getting tossed around, and it probably just fragments over time, and there's probably none left because the actual fossilization process.
Shark teeth last a long time. That's bone.
Yeah, but
I'm getting off topic.
Yeah,
I'm just really optimistic that someday somebody's gonna like.
Sorry, you're right. Yeah, probably, probably.
Sorry, like find.
There's probably.
Okay, this is a ship that was carrying parrots.
Now, I think like you've seen in the movies where they like find a shipwreck and then everything on the outside is gone, but then they open like the cabin door and all the stuff is still like in there because there's no like friction from current.
Who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows?
Maybe some parrots down there, unfortunately, but it is what it is. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. We had a lot of fun with this episode. We just kind of wanted to, like I said at the beginning, just kind of expand what we talk about, because obviously what we usually talk about is what we most care about, quite frankly, is all of the important care and the relationship building and things for a parrot. But we want to dive into all aspects of parrots out there and their history, and hopefully in the future, maybe per season, we can do something that's a little out of bounds and keep you guys entroped and ready for more. I was trying to think of a pun that had to do with pirates right there, but I couldn't. So I just get you hooked. There you go. Oh my God. I just did it. We're trying to keep you hooked.
Really
y'all.
Impressive.
So
y'all. All right. Thank you, everybody, so much for listening in. We hope you all had a very safe and pleasant holiday. And stay tuned for more episodes.
As usual, it really helps us a lot by downloading, please, reviewing us, because that really gets us out on the platform. That's what boosts us to more people. So that way we can really do our best to make sure that these parrots are in good hands, because that's what it's all about. So we always appreciate your support. We'd love to have feedback. Any suggestions or comments or critiques are always welcome to us personally, but never ever leave less than a 5-star review.
Thanks, everyone.
Yes, thank you.
And as always,
Be kind to your parrot, and I will be kind to you.
that's right. All right. Thanks, everyone.